Welcome to April's Garage. There's a lot of EVs coming to the market and not really a lot of people on board anymore about buying them. Now, I always thought that leasing was kind of a scam. I understand it like a little bit, probably.
It is kind of a scam in the sense of how I research these numbers,
Right.
because there's a lot of expensive EVs. It seems like they love to make $60,000 to $150,000 EVs, but nobody's buying them.
Right.
Everybody's coming out with new ones and nobody's
Why
buying
do you
them.
think they're so expensive though? Because there's these huge government rebates that they were offering, or are they
No.
just that expensive to make?
They want to make them expensive so they make more money.
Right.
And it is very expensive to do the batteries and all that stuff, so they make them luxurious and more expensive to offset that, and then they make more money. The
Right.
problem is nobody's buying it. So to save face, and the inspiration for this video is the Charger EV lease.
Right.
It's just come out. The Charger EV for $60,000, the base price, has just come out. $80,000, fully loaded,
Right.
which is insane. It's so stupid, crazy expensive.
Right.
Nobody's going to buy it. They know that. They're already whoring the things out as leases.
Well,
as
the
I said
problem when
before.
they first did the retro-styled Chargers, I don't know, back in 2005, was it? They were affordable. I bought one new because they were affordable. It was really exciting, where obviously they're not affordable anymore.
No. So, since nobody's going to sign up for one for $60,000, the base price, or $59,595, they're advertising a lease, and they're just going to eat it later. So they're advertising it for $299 a month with $4,500 down for the base Charger EV lease, and that's
Right.
before taxes, title fees, and whatever dealer BS gets put on. That is just what the manufacturer is doing for their incentivized lease.
Right.
So if you do the math, $4,500 plus $299 times 24 months, because it's 2 years, they get $11,676. Now,
Right.
there is the federal EV mandate that helps with this. On a lease, you can use that for $7,500. So using that math, MSRP
Right.
minus how much the lease payments are,
Right.
minus the $7,500 EV credits, $40,419 is what the Charger needs to be worth in
Right.
2 years, or they lose money. Do you think in 2 years
Right.
people are paying $40,000 for an all-new Charger EV?
Well, there's this massive depreciation with every single electric car. It doesn't matter who makes it. It's just the depreciation's
Right.
right when you drive it off, which is any car's like that, but EV seems to be extreme.
It's almost half of is what I usually see in a year. So that would be about $30,000, which means they're going to lose
Right.
10 grand plus on
Right.
every single one of these leases. And just for comparison's sake, a Toyota Camry LE, the leasing wonder, $329 a month, 39 months, $3,000 down.
Right.
That's $15,710.
Right.
They have a $30,000 MSRP, but the average used value wholesale of a Camry is 20 grand after 3 years. So that gives them $6,000 in profit right there at wholesale value,
Right.
where they're supposed to make money on the interest, giving the loan, make money on the car. It's slim, but there's a margin there.
Right.
There's a path to profit, unlike losing $10,000 on the Charger
Well,
EV.
I mean, the Charger, that monthly payment of $299 is fantastic, and I feel like that's how they're luring people in. But what you're saying is that Dodge is losing money.
They're
over
losing
it.
a ton
lot
of money. Obviously, it's not going to be $299 because there's the taxes, titles, fees, and all that stuff, and the dealer will find a way to make it, $400, $450 or whatever. But that's just
What?
they're putting in
Right.
for their money on the leases, and just their money is a huge loss. So,
Sure.
like Tesla Cybertruck, they're trying to move Cybertrucks, and it seems like a great lease deal right now on that. The price of the Cybertruck is now $80,000. With the lease, it does qualify for the $7,500 credit, and they're doing $7,500 down and $750 a month, so it's a $34,000 lease.
Right. Total.
Pretty expensive. And so if you do the math, the Cybertruck after that period of time needs to be worth over $38,000 when the lease is up to be profitable, which I think in 3 years the Cybertruck would still be worth probably 40s.
Right.
So I think
Sure.
the lease is still okay for Tesla if they can move them
That
at
makes
that
sense.
price. So the Cybertruck, obviously everybody who's already wanted a Cybertruck that wanted to buy it, they bought it.
They have it already.
They're done.
It's in their garage. There's not really anyone else looking for them, I feel like, especially now in the climate we are, however you want to position that. Nobody's going to be wanting to get their hands on them.
Right, so they have to incentivize. The lease right now is still a path to profit for them, but I think they're still going to have a hard time. You look at Tesla dealerships and the lots are filled with Cybertrucks. They're going to have to keep cutting the price. Elon has had no problem cutting price on vehicles. Like the Model S Plaid that I have was $130,000, $140,000.
Wild.
Now it's $89,000 for the exact same car.
Right.
Most manufacturers, they don't want to lose face and piss off their customers that paid this much at the very beginning, and now the car is this, so they do all the incentives, the rebates, and the lease deals and all that stuff.
Right.
And the leases seem to be the most popular thing to do on the EVs.
Is he ever going to come out with the Tesla Roadster? Is that going to be a thing? Did you put a deposit on one?
No. There's plenty of people, though, that put $200,000 on that. And have been waiting for 5 years.
What?
They wanted the full
$200,000
to get the launch edition. You had to pay pretty much for all of it up front.
What? Okay,
Yeah.
what's the deal with that?
That's crazy. So, back last year, the Ford Lightning piling up on lots. Nobody was buying them. The range was way less than what was anticipated. All kinds of problems and things.
Well, didn't you get in trouble for talking about that?
Yeah,
What's the story with that? What happened?
Well, so I did a towing test and it got millions of views showing how limited the towing was with the Lightning with a light load, very light load of an aluminum trailer and a Ford Model A, and it was less than 100 miles of range towing that light load.
Right, okay.
In the cold. And it never got the range that we thought. The battery failed right when we traded it in, though, so that was definitely a thing. But still, that's pretty much what people are reporting on these things. And there's other bugs and problems. So they did a lease on those, $452 a month for 36 months, 0 down.
Ooh.
So on the Ford Lightning, let's say you got the standard range XLT, so decent trim, but the smaller battery, it was $64,000 for that truck.
For low range, standard range, sorry. That's rough.
And it was $452 a month for 36 months. 0 down is what they were doing on these Lightnings.
Right.
$16,272 for 3 years. Now, the residual value now of the early Lightnings, they're trading for about 37 grand wholesale. So that means they lost 10 grand on every single one of those deals. And obviously they paid a dealer to sell this. There's some dealer profit built in there. They're supposed to be making money on the interest of loaning it to somebody as well. But instead, they're losing 10 grand, it seems like, on every single one of those Lightning leases.
Well, and that's why I've never been into leasing. I've never really understood it. And it seems like it's like Russian roulette a little bit, because you don't know. Some manufacturers, some cars you're making out, and some cars they're taking advantage of you. And like you have to be a mathematician and research all these leasing to see what you're really going to get. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a little scary to figure all of this out and be correct with it.
So there's two that the manufacturers are 10 grand upside down.
Right.
But it gets even deeper. So the new Acura ZDX, which is on the same platform as our Cadillac Lyriq. It's so funny. They're all made in Tennessee.
They look the
The ZDX, the Honda Prologue, the Chevy Blazer EV, and the Cadillac Lyriq are the same platform.
Right.
But this is the most expensive Acura they have right now. It's $65,000 for the base ZDX.
Okay.
Crazy.
I mean, they look like every single car on the road.
Right. A Model Y, more range, $40,000.
Right.
Nobody's buying it.
Right.
So they're doing a lease, $299 a month,
Not bad.
$3,000 down,
Okay.
$10,000 for 2 years.
Right.
And the car's brand new, so we don't know what the residual value is yet. But there's already some that have traded 2024s at auction, and they sold for about $45,000 the average. So just driving the thing off the lot, they've already lost 3 grand if you do the math, if this person makes all the payments. But in 2 years, they're losing 20 grand on these leases easily.
The
20,
car
30
company?
grand. Yes. Honda is losing 20, 30 grand on these leases.
And they're I feel like everyone's gonna be bailed out. This is disaster talk right now.
Because they're saying only $10,000, $11,000 in this person making payments is going to cover the depreciation on the car, and then they make some money on the interest and obviously selling the car.
Right.
No, this thing's gonna be worth 20 or 30 in 2 or 3 years. They're getting smoked at the $65,000 sticker. Terrible.
Right.
So our friend Tyler Potter, he's an employee at the local Jeep dealership, and they are offering a heavy, crazy incentive to him to buy the new Wagoneer EV, which nobody wants. The Wagoneer EV range is right at 300 miles, so less than the Lyriq.
Well, is it?
Yes.
I thought the Lyriq was 280.
Well, we only charge it to 80%. We never do a full charge.
Right, got it.
So if you charge that to 80%, it's even lower. It has a sticker of $72,000, the one that he bought.
Oh, he did get one?
He did.
Shut up, he did not.
No, listen to this.
You did.
They were so desperate to get these things moved along.
Yeah.
And I believe him. $234 a month, 0 down.
That's incredible.
0 down.
I would
But
get that.
you have to be an employee and all
great
the
credit.
incentives and everything else.
Yeah.
So $5,616 for 2 years on this lease. It's too new to know what it's
rough.
worth in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But they're already trading for $49,000 on the secondary market. So they're already 20 grand, 22 grand off.
Right. I'm just shocked because I remember hearing him talk about how difficult they are, how many times they've come in for small fixes, but you have to take apart so many things
Right.
to get in there to fix these small fixes.
On the gasoline one. So
Right.
the Wagoneer EV is a different platform, but yeah, still all those problems. So even with the $7,500 tax credit, the moment he drove off with this car, if he had made all of his payments and then just gave it back,
Right.
and they had to wholesale it off, they would be losing 10 grand.
Right.
But in 2 years, they're losing 30 grand on this
Right.
lease.
Well, I wonder
Easily.
if there's a thing
Easily.
with companies to say, okay, if we get our cars out there and people are seeing them, they're going to think they're cool and other people are driving them. So it's going to kind of raise the awareness of the Wagoneer and more people are going to want them. Does that make sense? Do you think that there would be that sort of an incentive deep within the company to push that?
If sales are good,
Mm-hmm.
show that you're moving units, shows progress, but I guess you're losing that much money. I don't know if they ever show the losses like that.
Right.
But that one's the second worst. The worst one is old Ed Bolian and
no.
Tavares and their leases that they got from Audis. They
Like the e-tron?
They are completely annihilating Audi with these RS e-tron GT leases. And our friend Rob Santori did this 2 years ago. Because these RS e-tron GTs, they have a sticker of $167,000, at
I've
least
seen some
the one that
more.
Freddie bought. Yeah, mid 150s
Yeah.
to almost 170.
I've seen more. They're like supercars. That's crazy.
My Plaid's faster.
Really?
My Plaid's better.
I like
Nobody's
the look
buying.
of the Plaid better. Like the e-tron, it almost looks like plastic in the front grille. Like I thought for that car, for the luxury of it, and for it to be that expensive, it would look a little snazzier. Can I use that word?
I suppose. But in Freddie's case, he bought his as a 1-year-old 9,000-mile vehicle.
Right.
It was an off lease. So one person paid $13,000 for the lease and the $7,500 tax credit. So that was 20 grand that got absorbed there. Then Freddie gets it for 2 years and it's $13,000 again.
Right.
So that's $33,000 in money coming into Audi
Right.
to move this $167,000 vehicle. But at the end, it's only worth $66,000 at 3 years old.
That's rough.
So the loss, $67,000. That's what they're losing on these lease hacks. That Ed has a good friend of his that is helping all of his friends get these crazy lease deals on these e-trons that they can't move.
Right.
They're losing $60,000 plus per unit
Wait.
on these RS e-tron GTs.
But did Ed get a better deal than Freddie?
no, well, Ed set it up for him.
Okay.
Ed sort of copied it, but
Right.
absolutely insane.
Right. So you're saying e-tron is a good lease idea right now.
If you exploit it with Ed's,
Right.
backdoor deal that he has with a salesman at an Audi
Sure.
store, and there's other stores that know how to do this,
Right.
it is absolutely nuts. But you would be absolutely crazy to buy any of these very expensive EVs.
Right.
The Porsche Taycan, the Audi e-tron,
Right.
the Tesla Model S Plaid. You're nuts. You're
To
absolutely
purchase
nuts.
it, but to lease it.
To lease it
You're
when
a
they're willing
genius.
to give it away like this, you're
Yeah.
pretty smart. But the manufacturers are just dumb for building these in the first place because
There has to be something we're missing here, and I don't know what it is.
it's not. They're losing their butts.
Maybe you do. Thanks so much for watching.
Yes, there's a lot of very expensive EVs.
EV. EV.
There's a lot of expensive erectile dysfunctions.
Sorry. I don't know if expensive. It's
because yeah,
embarrassing.